Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with the very sharp-looking Mr. Peter Morganti. Welcome to the hairdressing world, Peter.
COVID haircuts, Darren. All the go. It's a bit cold, mate. It's a bit cold, Bella, out there with the ears showing.
Mate, it's freezing today. It's wet and cold, but must admit I had to go down and get mine cut. You probably got yours done at home, did you?
That's clippers out, straight over the top.
You let Jonah or Marley do it?
No, Beck's got to finish it off after I attack it. So it's a dual game. My hair's pretty straightforward. So,
good man.
All
right, let's get into last week's. I think it was just the 4 runners, Pete. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, mixed results, Darren. We'll start with South Pacific, which that got the owners up and about as he led, and he finished 12th, beating about 7. Stable did win the race. Between us and the owners, we know our thoughts, but the horse now goes for a spell, and I think will be gelded, if I'm not correct. That's correct, I mean.
Yeah, 100%. Look, the idea was that he was going to take a forward spot, but probably, maybe sit 4th or 5th with a bit of cover, because it was a very windy day last Saturday. But he had the blinkers on first time, and I think he might have just given him a little squeeze to jump out, and he certainly jumped out. He pretty much landed in front, and then he wanted to get on with it. So he basically let him get on with it. And even though sectionals weren't super quick, I think they were 12.38, 12.5. He sort of got him to stack up a little bit into the low 13s. He was out of juice. And then they came around him. He got a severe check there, probably at the 200 or 300, and he didn't drop back through the field. He sort of fought on all right in the straight. I think he said he got beat 7.
Yeah.
But he did feel the run on that firm track, and facing the breeze down the back, and then just that firm tracks sort of. He's just feeling those tracks. It just seems to me now that I bought the first international horse for our business back in 2011. And, we had a lot of trouble acclimatising that first horse. And then we had the theory of we'd just bring him out on the plane, race him here, and then take him back to the UK. And that worked pretty good with horses like Jackalbury and Dandino and them, etc. But the last couple of years, we bought him and left him here. And I think in all cases, it just does take time for him to, 1, acclimatise, and 2, just to get used to racing and training on our firm tracks. And I know Karen spends a lot of time with these horses in the sand and down the beach, but it just seems to take 12 months for him to harden up in the joints and knees and body. And, with the horses we've had over the years with different trainers, Marco Body and them, when they came here, they were astounded at how firm our tracks are.
Yeah.
And basically said you can get away with 1 or 2 runs on them, but you wouldn't want to be running on them every day. So the horses aren't really bred or set up for it, and they do find it hard. And I think you find a lot of imports either at the top level or even at the lower levels when they come here. It does seem to take them 12 months to find their straps once they stay. They sort of run good the first couple of times, and then their film tapers off. Now, South Pacific in this case probably hasn't run. He's probably his best runs were his first couple of runs. But now he's going to be gelded, and, he's going to be given the time to acclimatise properly. And he's probably going to look at the Sydney Carnival, where there's a bit of give in the ground, whereas in Victoria, in a normal year, the tracks are pretty firm here in the autumn. So, look, I think the horse still got a lot of ability, and I think he's still going to win races, but it's just not going to be this spring.
Yeah. You actually, if you do go through all our staying form, there's a lot of international horses littered through the form where you've seen that there's a period where they've just done nothing, and all of a sudden they come good. Then they have a period where they hold that form, but there's a lot of them there that actually haven't come good either. Not that we want that to happen, but it's a big thing. They've, had 3 or 4 or 5 years of their life in Europe, and then they're out here. Totally different setup. Move on to Sunday, and we had a good result with Madam Mischief. When I say a good result, finishing third, beaten 4 lengths in a 64, you would say, how's that a good result? But I think the fact we've seen enough to know that she can probably win over 1,200. The winner was very good, and she was only nabbed late for second. She led up because she normal pattern with her is she is a good beginner. She didn't have to work hard. I thought battled on well.
Yeah, I think here's a case of a horse that's fairly limited, maybe one-dimensional. And I think Archie got it right. I think he put a lot of thought into what he was doing with this filly, and he figured out that she didn't have enough speed for 1,000. Probably can't run further than 1,200 at this stage, and found the right race. Kyneton, nice leaders, tight track, drew well, everything in her favour, travelled beautiful to the turn, and then obviously the odds-on favourite, pretty well credentialed horse, probably going to be seeing a bit of it in the spring, probably look back and go, wow, fancy running into that. But no, I thought her run was good, and I think Archie's executed that plan as well as anyone could have.
Yeah, and there's going to be a few of those types of tracks around during the summer that'll suit her, and I think the winner wins by 3.5, and I reckon it's 4 lengths back to the fourth horse. So, it's not as if she just held on from a pack that was running all over the top of her late. She actually beat most of the rest of the field easy. So, yeah, we'll be winning again with her hopefully shortly. Monday, we had a horse that was 3 days short of his last run 12 months prior, which was Periscope at Donald over 2,100 metres. Again, if you say you're happy with an 8th at Donald in a maiden over 2,100, then people will be looking at you and going, what? But for where he's come from, it's a great result to get him racing. And the report back from Michael Walker was the horse, he thought on the home turn he was going to run into a place. He just gave out in condition in that last 150.
Yeah, well, look, it's been a long-term plan. It's kind of hard to believe it's a year since Periscope raced. And, at one stage, he was done, finished, not going to race again. But I guess when you run second at Warrnambool Maiden, beaten ahead by a horse called Vow and Declare that goes on and wins the Melbourne Cup, you kind of think to yourself, and there's 9 or 8, 9 lengths back to the rest of them, you think, you got a horse here that can gallop. And, the only reason we pushed on with this horse really was because we knew he had a few issues. We knew he was immature, and most of those issues were associated with him being immature. He's by raised the flag, same size as Yogi. Most of them don't come good till they're 6 or 7. And, the horse was going to be retired and thrown out into a paddock or given to someone to ride around the bush. But, we decided that given what he'd shown us, given the breed, that they do get better with age, that it was worth a shot at the stumps to try and see if we could get him back and get him going. And I think, in all fairness, Pat Ryan's done a great job with him. He's certainly got the horse looking good. He's got him sound. I know we had our chiropractor working on him regularly over that 9 months that he was here in the paddock, just to keep him right and get him happy. And the last month before he left, he was raring in the paddock like a 2-year-old colt, and I hadn't seen that the whole time he'd been here. So I knew he was pretty much right. And I think it was a terrific effort to get him back. I think it was over 2,100 first up, which, it wasn't really what he wanted to do, but there was no 2,000 for him. No. So that probably just found us out a little bit because, as you said, when he came around the corner, he was still on the bridle. I thought, oh, yeah, he's going to run into the placings or just off him here. I was pretty happy anyway because I just loved the way he jumped, travelled. His action looked fantastic. And before the bend, I was wrapped with what he'd done. And it's very satisfying. I think it'll be very satisfying when he wins. But I found it very satisfying for all the work that we've done here, the team on the farm, our chiropractor. And then, to give him a pat and, him working through his way. I'm really looking forward to seeing if we can keep him happy and whether we can win those couple of races with him because it'd be a good story.
Absolutely, and he's a bit of a stable favourite with Pat and the boys down there. Even Pat says he doesn't mind throwing his leg over him and riding him some of the slow work, but good result. And Pat's toying with So what are we today? Thursday. Next week, running over 2,300 at Waterville. But it'll just depend on how he's come through. But at this stage, he's certainly aiming for that race. So we'll get the miles into him. Tuesday at Donald. Into the connection. We're up and going. Street Baby. This was a bit disappointing, but we spoke after the race. She just cried out for more ground, Darren. She ran 7th. She couldn't get on the bridle. It was over 1,350. It was a step up from 1,200 at Ballarat, but she just needs to get further. Well, you even mentioned maybe even out to 1,800 ASAP.
Yeah, well, she's a stone type of filly. She's a big, light-framed horse. Look, to be honest, she's probably not ready yet. She's probably still a year away, or she may never be ready. But she's a big, gangly girl, and she's got stayer written all over her. We've seen her run some nice races at times. She's a filly that struggles to hold a weight. So she's had a run over 1,200, and now she had a run over 1,350. And to be honest, we might only get 4 or 5 starts out of her this prep. So I think we've got to get her out. If he's got her fit enough, and if she's got the miles into her legs, I think she just showed that, she'll probably go to a mile next start and she'd probably do the same thing, or maybe just hit the line a little bit better, and we'd be saying straight to 2,000. But the quicker we get to 2,000 with her, the better. I just don't want to get to a right distance when, we get to the right distance, but she's ready for the paddock and we don't get to see the result of what she's capable of. And then, before you know it, we don't go again for another prep. So we miss the opportunity. And I think it happened to us a few years ago with a mare called Flying Hula that, when Darren Weir had her, and we knew we had to get her to 2,000, and she just wanted to hold the condition. And luckily, I think we jumped from 14 to 2,000, and she won that day. And he said, right now she has 3 months off and you'll have yourself a city horse. And that's exactly what happened. But, if we hadn't got to the 2,000, she hadn't done that, we probably would have just sold her on, and we would have missed that opportunity. And she went on to be a pretty handy mare for us.
Absolutely.
So they can't win if they're not at the right distance.
Case in example, maybe Maisie Motion, who we'll talk about in a couple of horses' time, where she's been kicked off over 1,600. She's always been a horse similarly lighter in condition, and 3 or 4 runs out of her, and you're getting closer to the end of the prep than the start. So anyway, we'll chat about her shortly. But Daniel will find a race. He obviously is fully understanding and knows where she is in terms of getting out in the trip. So they're our runners that we had. No joy, but a couple of promising efforts anyway going forward. Runners coming up. Capriccio, Saturday, Group 3, Thoroughbred Stakes, field of 8 for 3-year-old fillies. Did Platelet win this race, Darren? Going back a few years ago, or similar?
Someone won it.
Certainly won a race on Caulfield Guineas Day. I reckon it was her as a 3-year-old. Yeah. So that'd be 5 or 6 years ago. Might be 7
probably longer. It's probably, I think it was played, it might have been her 3rd start or something, 4th start. But, it's an interesting, she's an interesting filly because, look, she's $35 in the market. Now that's a ridiculous price. The horse that she beat at Ballarat a couple of weeks ago came out and won at Moonee Valley last week. So
that's right. Yep.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with the form. It's probably the fact that if it was trained by a more high-profile trainer, then she's probably half that price.
I think 8 from 8 too. Barry 8 from field of 8. Just where do you get?
We're thinking we're going to get slightly rain-affected track. I mean, we had an inch of rain overnight. Well, there's another inch or 2 forecast for tonight, tomorrow. So I can't see how that track's got to be at least a 6 or a 7, and I think we're in race 2, so certainly going to have the cut out of it. And she's bred like her mother, Long Espresso. She just ate mud pies for breakfast. So if that track's wet, she'll run a big race, and she's on speed, makes her own luck. It's only her 3rd start. She's a sneaky chance. I don't know if she's a winning chance, but she's certainly a sneaky each way chance in a field of 8. There may not even be 8 runners on the day, but she's definitely a chance to get some black type here.
Yeah, well, top 4 finish gives that little bit of black type. Obviously, Muntasir and is it Swat? So I think of Corson's, I can't think of its name. There's some nice fillies in there, but
I went through their form. Their form's good without being outstanding.
yeah. It is the next tier back for sure in the 3-year-old ranks, yeah.
Yeah, and she's not rated in the market, so she's capable of a bit of a surprise there.
Yep. Same day, and we'll have Matty Williams' interview a bit later on that we haven't mentioned as yet. We've got My Shiny Choice, first emergency in that country series that's going around now. There's quite a few races. It's a 1,400 metre, $100,000 race, benchmark 70 at Hamilton. It'll be an talk about bog tracks, Darren. This meeting could be a Casterton. I'm thinking.
You don't think they'll run at Hamilton?
Well, I'm just thinking the fact that all the 1,600 metre races have been brought back to 1,400 because they reckon they'd get bogged in the chute. So that part of the track's obviously waterlogged. You're mentioning the rain, and God, you'd only have to get a half an inch more. You just wonder what state the track will be in. But regardless of that, Matty's fairly confident that he's trained on well. He's a little bit hesitant in the real heavy track with him, on the real heavy track, but he's come back in good form. That race run at Geelong, beaten by a better horse of, I think it was Valors, wasn't it, that beat us that day?
Very good horse.
But he held off the rest well and looks to have come back as a sharp, sprightly 8-year-old.
Certainly racing in career best form, and talking to one of the owners during the week, and we've raced a lot of horses out of that mare, and we think they've won most of their prize money when they've been 6+, which is unusual.
Yeah.
If I don't know what's going to happen there with Hamilton, but whether they get the rain or they don't get the rain, or whether they move it or not, I'm pretty certain you'll make the field. There'll certainly be at least one scratching given the weather. It's hard to believe that you're going to Hamilton at 64 running for part of 100,000, but it's very much welcome. And he'll whatever he does on Saturday in that race, he'll give him a shake, and he'll run really well in that race. So I don't know who's going to ride him.
Dylan
Dunn. Well, there you go. There's he's a very good rider in his own right. So I think you'd expect that horse to be competitive. I don't like him in the real wet, I must say that.
Yeah. For the horse's sake, it mightn't be a bad thing if it do go to Casterton, because they don't genuinely get that real bog-heavy track because it's a sand-based surface, and he's won at Casterton as well. So, anyway, that'll play itself out. But, we've just got to wait and see if we can get a scratcher. There is quite a few dual acceptors, and I think the reasoning for that was all these distance changes and just trying to get a run in the race too. So there's a lot of horses probably not wanting wet tracks. Some are wanting wet tracks, hence why we've got the dual acceptances. So I think we'll sneak in. Where it's run, I'm not sure. Sunday night? No, hold on, I've got to get this right. The 11th. I don't know if it's Sunday night or Saturday night or Sunday morning or Saturday morning, but it's at the Curragh, Darren, the Curragh. We've got Mel Birdie in a 2-mile race.
Sunday night it'll be.
Yeah, so that's no field out yet, but she's one of 57 nominations for a 2-mile race. So, well, they run 30 anyway.
They do there, don't they?
They don't mind it.
Now, her run was super last time. Her run was really good. When she finished 4th, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's
and she got poleaxed twice in the run.
The old Black Booker.
I said to the trainer, I can't believe you guys don't protest over there. And he just laughed. So obviously they don't protest at all like what we do. You only got to sneeze on someone they protest here. But over there, she got poleaxed twice. Horse went straight across her. No protest. We'll just cop the 4th. But it was a good run, and it was good to see you had her back in good form because she's got a share of injuries. And she is nominated for the November Horses in Training sale at Tattersalls in the UK, but I think I'm going to get a bit of resistance there, Pete, because I reckon he knows she's got a ton of ability, and he also knows that it's hard work to keep her sound. I think the problems are in her stifles, but Yeah, I think he's thinking, if I got this horse right, Heartbreak City, the half brother, never come good till it was 7. We don't want to be throwing the baby out with the bathwater here. So it'll just be interesting to see what happens.
And over 2 miles too, Darren, where I think it'd be her first time on the flat over 2 miles. So, yeah, the Heartbreak City bit, it might marry up to a very hard decision for him to let go.
Yeah.
Anyway,
we got those mad Irish blokes involved, so anything could happen.
I reckon they'll be keeping the giddies on ice. Giddies on ice. They'll be pretty excited after a last run. But anyway, that'll be good to see. Monday, back to Victoria, Chuka. Well, we did mention her before, Maisie Motion. She's going to be first up in a fillies and mares race over a mile. Trialled up nicely. Pat said to me, this is obviously going Andrew, well, he's confident that she'll run a race. I don't know where that takes her, or makes where she finishes, but confident she'll run a race.
So obviously he's confident that she'll go in the gates and she'll jump and she'll run around. Is that what he's saying?
Finish 10th. No.
So she's first up over, what, 1,800?
Mile, 16.
1,600. So that's, yeah, interesting, isn't it? Interesting approach. But, yeah, she's a filly that we had with Archie, and she just didn't like the stable life at Ballarat. Didn't hold a condition, didn't really performed spasmodically.
The first prep was really good. The last prep, she was just all injury and everything, and the whole lot caught up with her.
It's not right.
I think she might have even flipped over the run and rail there at one stage with Archie, that last prep. Or Archie flipped over the rail, one of the two.
Nothing went right, I think. So anyway, she's gone down to Pat Ryan on the beach there at Wonderwall, and yeah, he seems to have her looking well and got her. Where are they?
What's that? Chuka.
Where they race? Chuka. All right.
Yep.
Chuka.
It's the best I've seen her look.
All right.
Yep. Nothing Tuesday. I can't remember where they were, but Wednesday, you may know more here, but Gamay's entered for the Coogee Handicap over 2,000, as well as another benchmark 78 over 2,000. It'd be something to bet on in the 78.
Well, yeah, look, I don't know which way Archie's going to go at this point, but look, Gamay's a winner of the Group 3 Ethereal. She's a valuable mare. Her run was super last time. So if she makes the Coogee field, yeah, she'll take a spot, I guess, but if she doesn't, she'll go back to that other race. But, you know, she's knocking right on the door. She's, you know, her target race is the Matriarch at Flemington over the Carnival. And, you know, we're confident she can fill a top 4 position there. So if that's the case, she should be going close wherever she runs.
And it's funny because that 78, she was beaten by a potential Group 1 winner, and that filly of Dan O'Sullivan. So how strong? Your normal 78, you think you'd go there with a 78 type runner and be some sort of chance. You're going to look at that form in 4 or 5 weeks' time and go, geez, we had no hope.
Well, it's that type of year. Like we run second in a maiden at Ballarat, and, you know, the first 3 in that race are all going to the Derby, and, you know, you go to a 78 and you run into a horse that's placed at Group 1 level at this time of year, and there's nowhere to hide, Pete. Doesn't matter where you go this time of year, there's nowhere to hide, and you just got to go around and hope for the best. But I think you look back on the form at the end of spring and you think, gee, I was disappointed that day, but now that horse has won a Group 1, I'm not that disappointed. I think when we got beat by Bound Declare at Warrnambool all those years ago, we thought, gee, we're unlucky to get beat there. And then next minute, that horse wins the Melbourne Cup, and all the owners are going, what the hell?
Yeah, and I think similarly that year too, we went up to Echuca with Penthouse Playboy, and Be Good to Your Mother won that maiden.
Yeah, so and you can find them. Yeah. We can find them.
Yeah, we can find them. So that's Wednesday. Thursday, we mentioned Periscope, and that will just depend on how he continues to recover after his run on Monday. And not much else from that point of view. We'll get into the rest of them next week.
All right, mate. Now the spring tipping comp. We're 2 weeks in, and there's a few that have dropped off or forgot to put their tips in already.
Yeah, I think a few dropped off. 131. There might have been a dozen dropped off. There's a few trying to burrow their way back in because their tips ended up in spam or wherever. And we got 15 who consider themselves experts, Darren. They've tipped both winners. Yeah, two for two. What did you have last week?
Well, I went for Street Baby. I agonised over Very Elegant and Street Baby. I just thought,
surprise baby. Yeah.
Surprise baby.
No result.
Yeah, I just thought, got horses with Paul Prushka. He's only given him a light prep. The other horse got to travel down from Sydney, all the rationale. Anyway.
I went.
I haven't dropped off Surprise Baby for the Melbourne Cup either, by the way.
His run was good.
I think his run was good. He just had to do too much work, probably.
Typical Mr. Williams ride, just riding it back, smothering it up. I'm not getting out too early.
Your little mate on board. It'll be interesting to see if he sticks with it for the Melbourne Cup or not. But not sure what was going on there. But anyway, one no cigar there for me. Went the wrong way, and
it's not going to get nowhere. Not going to get nowhere easier.
Very Elegant.
Yeah.
And she asked me what was I taking. I said Surprise Baby, and then she followed me. So she was dirty.
Well, I was no better. I think I finished 5th or 6th with Master of Wine. He ran okay, but was never going to win it. So
no.
He's a tough mare. This race. Tough mare, Very Elegant. It was a good win.
Mm.
Which race this week? It's the Caulfield Guineas, the 3-year-old mile. One of the hardest races on the calendar to try and find a winner. So good luck. I haven't really studied the field that hard. I don't know if you're looking at it now as well, but
I've got it here.
I'm just going to, at a pinch, have a quick look.
Yeah, well, the favourite's Old Kirk at 320.
Oh, yeah, that was a really good win at Sydney a couple of weeks ago.
By King's Legacy and Tagaloa. There's only 4 horses under $10.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting there to see. I think we'll get the same situation with the 120 people involved, Pete, that we'll get a spread of horses here.
Yeah, for sure.
There'll be a spread now. I don't know whether to go with the one I think that can win or I want to go with the one I want to win because I really do want number 7, Amish Boy, to be winning, Pete.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Amish Boy is, by Star Witness, She's No Doubt. And we actually happen to own the full sister, who's a broodmare. And if that horse won a Group 1, instead of getting 100 grand a foal, we'll be getting 300 a foal for the owners. So,
yeah.
I'll be cheering for Amish Boy out of the Kerrimar yard. It was a good run. It's run a couple of blinders this prep at Group 2 level. Whether it's up to this, I don't know. But those top 3 horses, and there's one down the bottom of Waller's, they look pretty smart. It's a very even field, though, I must say. And then, of course, we don't know how the weather's going to play into it.
And there's a little bit of form through Crackerjack Prince, one of ours, with that Camborne that beat the thing that beat ours at Ballarat. So you just like to see that form sort of lining up a little too. But it's a good race, some nice horses there. I'm a little bit. It's one of the best days
in the spring, and it's a shame we can't be there.
Yeah, no, exactly. Anyway, I'm sure we'll get a nice roll of different tips for different reasons. So. See how many people are still alive, or when I say still alive, see how many people can go 3 for 3. If they go 3 for 3, they've set themselves up with 7 rounds to go.
If someone gets 6 for 6, they'll be looking back thinking, I should have taken the multi.
Yeah, the roll will be all right too. Anyway, Darren, I haven't got much more.
No, I think that wraps us up this week, Pete. So we're going to cut to an interview now that we did earlier with Matthew Williams, who's been training down at Warrnambool for 20 years. I was surprised to hear, but I was just trying to think the first horse I sent to Matthew Williams. I really can't remember. It's a long time ago. He was only a young pre-trainer there. And when I first went there, he was on that same farm, but he was a young pre-trainer. He probably had 20 or 30 pre-trainers for Melbourne trainers and probably trained 6 or 8 of his own.
Yeah.
So that was well before the days, and just interestingly enough that I think he pre-trained for Tony Noonan and a couple of those guys, and we sent him a couple of horses because funnily enough we wanted them on the beach, so it must have been ahead of our time, but I don't know why we did that, but anyway, someone must have told me it was a good idea. But no, we've known Matthew, we've you know, he's married Ultra. We've watched him grow that business, and you know, he's got a herd of kids running around now, and you know, he's still just a very likeable fellow. And you know, I've got a couple of horses there. We'll always have a few with him, and he's always good fun, especially around the Warrnambool Carnival.
Yeah, I know for sure. He's a top bloke, Matty. And I met you, Darren, through Matthew. I was running around.
Yeah, that's right. You were asleep
around.
under a horse rug in the end box, and he said, "This bloke needs a job."
He needs some shoes. Yeah, running around with my camera and I think I just happened to have I can't remember the name of the horses. Might have been Jern, Baby's Jern, or horses like that. So I can't remember. And yeah, wasn't long after that Luxurious won the Wangoom, and away we went.
Away we went.
Away we went.
All right, well, let's leave it there, Pete, and we'll cut across, and you can have a look at the interview we did earlier with Matthew Beetroot Williams. And I guess just signing off, Pete, we've given Eustace the flick, no tips, no trainers tips.
Well,
but Matty does give us a little sneaky one in his interview here this week.
Yeah, so that'll do. My tip was scratched last week, and so was Dave Eustace's, so no one lost anything.
All right. Well, until next week, I'm Darren Dance with Peter Morganti. Enjoy the interview with Matthew Williams. Welcome to ATB TV. I'm Darren Dance here with a very sharp-looking Peter Morganti. Yeah, not much saying there, mate. I think you're giving Beetroot a run for his money, but he's got the hat on. Anyway, welcome to ATB TV to, I can't really say he's a bit of a young gun down at Warrnambool now. He's got a few Ks on the clock like me. Matty Williams, welcome to ATB, mate.
G'day, guys.
There you go, Matty.
Yeah, good, Morgs. Good, mate.
That's the way.
Well, that was a pretty exciting. He sounds like he's pretty excited to be here, Pete. He's up and about. He's just a bit dirty. He hasn't seen the list of questions.
Well, if he's like me, he's got Ugg boots on. He's been inside all day, and the heater's on about 28.
Yeah, well, we've had 50-something mil in the last 24 hours up here, so we're nearly washed out.
Where's our good wet trackers?
I reckon the foam off the Hopkins Falls would just about be blown over the roof of your house, wouldn't it?
Yeah, actually, I haven't seen that for a couple of weeks. Be worth going to have a look at, though. The old Wangoom Falls up there, she would be frothing.
You'd be roaring. All right, Peter, kick it off, son.
All right, Matty. Well, just briefly, just your time in training. You're as Darren said, you're not a young bloke coming through now. You've been in the game for a while. Obviously, you're associated with ATB for quite a number of years now. Just brief outline. Go right back. Your introduction into racing. Obviously, through a few local trainers, and where you are now, and how you feel everything's going.
Yeah, so I'm just over 20 years now. I've been training horses. So I originally started at a fitter and turner apprenticeship. So I completed that, but I think the end of the 4 years, the day I sort of had me apprenticeship papers ticked off, I decided that I'd give horse training a go, as I always wanted to do that. I'd ridden track work all the way through my fitter and turner apprenticeship. So I used to write a bit of work for Jocker Bailey here in Warrnambool, and then head off to fix milking machines and do a bit of welding and stuff like that through the day. And then, once I sort of got that under my belt, I thought, we'll give it a go, and finish up getting some pre-trainers to start with. Quinny Scott and Tony Noonan. We used to do a lot of work for Tony back in the day. And fortunate, Uncle had some land out at Wangoom where we've set up our property now, and he sort of give us a bit of the run of the mill there just to start building some stables, which has now sort of gone to about, I think there's 90 boxes there, 90 stables. Then it was swimming pools and walking machines and water walkers and treadmills, and it just hasn't stopped in the last 20 years, basically. So you're always improving your property and getting better facilities, and we're fortunate after 20 odd years, we think we're sort of somewhere there now where there's not too much more we could want for. We've sort of got all the bells and whistles, so we've got the facilities there to sort of cater for all types of horses. And yeah, we've sort of always done a bit of pre-training, and outside sort of work as well as training. So it's about a 50-50 ratio with us. I guess there's two businesses. One's our own training business, and the other is the pre-training side. And in the last couple of years, we've been fortunate to hook up with Mick Price, and we have about 30 odd horses of his there all the time now, which are vary from horses that are stay here and race out of his Woonable stable, which is at our property, which we run for him, and some are horses that might do the first 6 weeks and then go to Caulfield, or they swap around. And but it's it's a good revenue for our business, and it's allowed us to keep improving our facilities and have the setup that we have now.
You'll go, Darren, but I think he's stealing all your questions.
No, that's all good. Matty, I want to talk about your farm, the property. For those who haven't been there, it's out on the Wangoom Road there, and you can't miss it. It's got a lovely big sand track which is developing that track. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you've done to the track and why that's such an important part of what you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, so we put the track in probably some 15 years ago, and did it on a tighter budget. And look, it wasn't ideal, but the good part of doing it back so many years ago was we'd planted a nice cypress hedge all around the outside of the track. So we've got this really good hedge there that we keep trimmed up, and it's a great weather break for the track, and it also is a great break for summertime when you get those hot northerly winds, and that we're able to keep the sand on the track because that wind's not blowing it around, and the sprinkler system that goes around it's able to sort of irrigate the track in a nice even manner. And about 5-6 years ago we redid it. It was always a little bit narrow, so we took it out to 8 meters, the track, and put a new running rail up on the inside and did a few things to it. And now it's terrific. It's like, for as far as home tracks go, it's a ripping little track, and it's quite a heavy sand on the outside, so we keep the sand sort of graded up where they're probably working in a good 8-9 inches of sand on the outside, and it's a little bit not so heavy down near the inside where we do our trotting work. So we'll pretty much use the inside for trotting, and then when we want to do the heavy sand work, we keep moving out to the outside. So yeah, it's worked out terrific, because with that and the water walker and that there, it just all complements each other. And yeah, it's just from a soundness point of view for horses and that, it's obviously been well documented with Weary when he was training at Woonable with the sand dunes and that, how big of a help they were for keeping horses sound. And back in the days with Oxurius getting out to the sand dunes, if a horse like him hadn't had those options, he was coming off knee surgery when he come to us originally to Woonable, and a horse like him wouldn't have got the results that he did without the use of that heavy sand work, because where a normal horse might be, getting the heart rate up to so a certain amount on a normal track, on a heavy sand track, they're probably getting their heart rate up another 10, 15, where they're just doing a bit more work on their slow days, and you don't have to gallop them as much then, so you can get your horses fit without having to pound them on the track.
Peter?
Just complimenting all what you mentioned about your farm and the dunes, the beach. We always ask this question to the Woonable trainers. The beach, for many reasons, recovery, etc. It's a fantastic asset.
Oh, definitely. That just to be able to get down there after gallop day or trial day and have them just wading in that nice cool sea water is a big help, and just to be able to give that variety in work to horses. So that's a big thing with mixed horses that come up now. It's quite a lot of horses are coming up just to give them a change. They're used to going around Caulfield, and anything that gets a little bit of age on it that's still in mixed system will often come to the Woonable stable just for that change. And we've got those options to be able to mix things up during the week where they probably don't do a similar workout more than twice for the week. So whereas at Caulfield, you've just got, your inside track options and you're a bit restricted. It just, gives them a bit more variety.
suppose the only downside with the beach is the months from probably June through to September, October.
Yeah, it can get a little
Weather-wise.
bit cold and wet down there. Yeah, no, it certainly has its testing mornings, but we're coming into summertime now, and you do get some really good mornings down there where you think, well, geez, you wouldn't want to be doing much else today.
Darren?
Matty, I just want to make this clear for the people watching and, don't know a lot about the operation, but just specifically wanted to know, how long is it exactly since Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr. have been pre-training your horses?
Now, don't go stirring him up. I just sent him a big account the other day.
Now, I have told him over the years that him and Michael are very good trainers, and it's you that puts the polish on them. But I think you said there before he's got about 30 down there. How do you find them to get on with? Most people would just know him from his media interviews and his persona walking around the track, where he looks deadpan serious. Wouldn't laugh at a joke if one fell and hit him in the head, but I think underneath and behind the scenes, you'd probably say he's a little bit different to that.
No, look, he's been terrific for us. He's actually quite a funny man. He's probably not what he seems on TV. And one thing about him, though, and that is probably the part you see on TV, is that he calls a spade. And if something he's not happy with, well, you know about it, and you know where you stand with him. So it's been great from that respect for us. And I think, with Michael coming on, he's comes from a younger sort of version of horse training, and he's got some great ideas, and he's been able to sort of throw them in and just switch things up. And I think, if you've got more people like that with a good horse brain, it can only benefit everyone's horses, because there's just little things that different people pick up on different things, and it might just be enough that it gets your horse going and back into the winner's stall.
So if you had a good horse, would you send it down to him to train for you?
I've got to say yes. No, I would definitely. I mean, you look at his results. Like, the stable's been flying. They particularly do a good job with young horses. That's probably he's an expert in that area as far as getting 2 and 3 year olds going. And you look at their 3 year olds this year, how well they've performed on the track. And they were probably horses that might have been a little bit quiet as a 2 year old stable last year, but those horses were given time, and they've really hit their straps now this year. So I think it just all works well, and it'll be interesting. They've got a big move coming up when they go to Cranbourne in the next few years. So, that'll be an interesting, setup and change things around again. But look, it's certainly working well between the two stables at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Peter?
Just in my time and knowing you, Matthew, over 10 years, obviously the dynamics of the staff have changed a bit. There's a couple of mainstays, but I remember when Jenna was in the office, but Jenna's obviously moved on, got married, and now you're married and kids. Obviously, Ultra is an important part of the business.
Definitely, yeah. To be honest, I wouldn't be able to send an account out these days, or she does all that side. So all the office side, as far as naming horses and doing accounts and that, and paying bills, paying staff wages and all that. Ultra does all that. So that frees my time up as far as training goes, because when you get a few numbers around you, there's only so much you can remember in a day and get time to do. So, and it's just great probably having your wife involved in the business, because, there might be times after she might have a tea and then she's got to go and send out another invoice to an owner who didn't get it or something like that. So she's very hands-on, and it's her business. So she's, you're getting 110% out of what's happening in the office as well. But look, as far as our staffing go, we've been very fortunate with our staff. There's quite a few of them have actually built up long service leave, which is something that probably doesn't happen in the horse industry a hell of a lot. And there's, there's 4 or 5 key staff up there, and then, we've our whole team just works well together. We've got some good riders there, and some good ground staff back at the stable who are operating the water walker and treadmill and things while we're at the beach and at the track.
With that, no detriment to any, but obviously there's two that we've had a lot to do with, it being Sarah and Tyler, and they can just about do anything that needs to be done in the stable, around from driving the horses to strapping, the whole lot. They're invaluable, those members.
Oh, definitely. You couldn't do it without people like that, because you know, especially when you've got kids and a family, it gives us a chance. We go away in the caravan a little bit from time to time. So we know that when we're away, things are still running as they would as if I was there. So yeah, certainly Tyler and Sarah are key parts of the business, and you know, both of them are been there for over sort of 10 years. So as I say, they're a massive help to your business, and you just couldn't do it without people like that.
Any jockeys or otherwise coming through from the young ones?
Young Braden, our youngest, so the oldest, he's been doing a bit of home track riding for a few racehorses, so he's quite keen. He gets his strappers license in another few months, so he'll be then probably let loose a little bit more. Yeah. But yeah, no, he's going along well. He rides well. He's he went through the pony club system, and he's probably just got a little bit sick of that, and really more keener on the racing side. And the three girls, Asher, Jessica, and Layla, they've all got ponies and go to pony club and that. So it's sometimes easy to take 10 horses to the races some days and go to a pony club meeting somewhere by the time you're leading one around all day, or catching one falling off, or a loose pony, or a crying child. But look, it's great. It's great for the kids at those to do pony club and things like that, because you know, the pony doesn't always do what he's supposed to do, and it doesn't always go like clockwork, and they've got to learn that, you know, some days you'll go out there and do a good show jump around, and other days you'll pull a rail, and it just, I guess, gives them a bit of a life reality check in a way.
Back to you, Darren.
Matty, I reckon we've had some great horses together over the years. I mean, obviously, Uxorius would be one of our favourites. Lucky on Barefoot was a great old horse, and we had some wonderful days during the May Carnival there with Lucky on Barefoot over the years. I think nearly all of us had the quaddie there, Ruckland one year, and I think we might have just got beaten the photo for a lot of money.
Yeah, that was nearly brought a tear to the eye that day, waiting for that photo to come up. It was that Stands Out. Was that the horse that got up and beat him that day? I think the grey horse.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we certainly have. You know, he was a terrific old horse. Lucky on Barefoot. I'm only guessing, but gee, we must have won 5 or 6 races with him.
Yeah.
It brought as a tried horse, you know. And Uxorius, well, yeah, he was just a beautiful horse. Uxorius, I don't think he really ever had a sound day as such. He always had little soundness issues going on all the time, but he just had a real, you know, big heart and a desire to win, and you know, that can take a horse a long way. And you know, yeah, he won Wongoom, Topaz, Spring Stakes, and yeah, he certainly give us some good thrills. He did.
I'll never forget Uxorius, as you say, won the Wongoom, but I think it was the Golden Topaz when he might have tossed Yendel off, or Yendel jumped off, and next minute, I think he was favourite. You had the money on, and you had a broken foot or something, foot in the moon boot, and you're sprinting across the track to try and grab him. Is that about right?
I don't know if I had the money on, but I was pretty confident he was going to be running well. So I was thinking there's got to be some trainer's percentage coming my way here if we just get this horse around to the barriers safely. But yeah, no, he just popped Yendel off that day just as he went out on the track, and luckily when he come back towards the mounting yard, he wasn't going too quick, and we were able to put the brakes on him and catch him and get Dino back on and get him around there and get the job done.
I think the key to Uxorius's chances there was actually having Yendel on the track trying to help catch the horse.
I don't know whether that was much help at all.
He was pretty frightened to me. Just on Dean Yendel, Matty, he's ridden a lot for you on and off over the years. I reckon he's a pretty good rider, and I think he's finding it a bit hard to get a lot of rides at the moment with the way things are. But what are your thoughts on Dean Yendel? And I think another one of your favourites would probably be Damien Thornton.
Yeah, so Dino's he's been doing quite a little bit of riding for us lately, and he has, you know, all his career really, all my career. But obviously, you know, when Weary was rocking along, he was always sort of tied there a bit, so it was always hard to get him. But well, I reckon he's a great rider. He can ride light, so he's always nice and strong on a horse. Always feel that he, especially with the horses in maidens that probably are pretty limited, he seems to always just be able to get the best out of them and get that maiden win on the board for you with a horse. So, but then, you know, he can match it with him when he goes to town. We've had him on Galo's shop the other day in the Underwood, and he rides again in the Caulfield Stakes this Saturday. So, yeah, look, I think he's no doubt finding it a bit harder, you know, without the Weir horses and that. But it's very competitive, the riding ranks in Victoria. There's a lot of good riders about. But, you know, Dino certainly holds his own. And Damien's the same. I think Damien's been an underrated rider for years, and he was probably just starting to really get going. He was getting a lot of support there off Chris Waller, doing a bit of work there from his Flemington base. And, yeah, he's probably missed a couple of decent rides lately through the injury that he's got. So, yeah, he's probably still a couple of months away before he's back going. But you've got no doubt he can sort of measure up to being a full sort of spring Saturday jockey.
Better.
Just touch on the couple of horses. Obviously, just in recent times, Mick Price, Michael Kent horse Sunburn, and is more than happy with the results that you were able to achieve with that filly. She's with you now, but we'll get back to her. My Shiny Choice is one that's similarly come across from Robbie Griffiths, and I think this might be your third season with him. 8-year-old. Won at least 3 races. He's been a ripper from our point of view and the owners. Just a great old horse to train.
He is. Yeah, it's a bit of a common theme there. I seem to be getting rejects all the time. It must be due for a bit of fresh blood up here, are we?
Here we go.
No, he's been a good little horse for stable, My Shiny Choice, and he's in a nice little race there on Saturday if he can gain a start, his first emergency. So we're hoping there's a scratching. He's in one of those heats of the Country Series, which is a 100 grand race at Hamilton. Soft, not sure about the real heavy, whether that'll be ideal for him. He'll get through it, but yeah, look, he's just a good, honest horse. He probably gets up to that 70 rating, and that probably finds him out a little bit. But yeah, he's been certainly happy to, you know, have him come into the stable, and the other little filly, yeah, I think she can probably, off a good break, she can certainly improve. Her manners and that, as far as race day manners and that, improved through the preparation whilst we had her up here. So a bit of time certainly on her side won't hurt her, and you know, we've probably worked things out a little bit too as far as what sort of distances and that she can handle, and can probably target that next preparation with her.
Back to you, Darren.
What about for the spring, Matty? You've got a great association with Terry Henderson and OTI, and I noticed you've got a couple in Saturday, Harbour Views and Galileo Chop. Are they your key chances, or you got a couple others there that you're going to pop up with, or maybe just going to take the credit on some of the Mick Price runners that he's probably never seen? They live at Warrnambool.
Yeah, no, look, yeah, certainly Galo Shop and Harbour will be our headline horses. Galo's, yeah, he's ticking along well. He'll go to this Saturday to the Caulfield Stakes, and then we'll going to get him on a flight from Sydney over to Perth, and he's going to go over for the Railway in Kingston Town, which he ran in last year. He ran in the Kingston Town, but he's going to go over for both races this year. And Harbour Views, yeah, he's sure which way that probably this Saturday determines where he goes. If he's sort of running top 3, well, he can probably go to the McKinnon here, and otherwise there might be races like the Ballarat Cup, and that might be good options for him. But yeah, on Mick's side, little horse that won at Ballarat the other day actually beat your horse with Archie, the Crackerjack King horse. Redwood Shadow, I reckon he's a horse that can actually improve. He's really bounced off that run at Ballarat in good order, and he goes to Caulfield next Saturday, and potentially on to the Victorian Derby if he can come through those runs and hold his form.
Did you have that horse down there, Matty, for Mick Price?
Yeah, he's a winnable horse, the Redwood Shadow.
Should have known the way it ran. Give me, Pete.
Yeah.
What about young horses? I know you're always got a sneaky 2-year-old floating around. You tend to target the Warrnambool Carnival, which was a bit different this year. I guess we're all looking forward to Warrnambool next year and hopefully being able to get down there and enjoy that new facility that they put together.
Yeah, it was certainly different this year. There's very little atmosphere on, which is not what you come to expect with the Warrnambool May Carnival. So yeah, hopefully they can get everything back in order and get going for next year. And we've on the 2-year-old front, we've been fortunate to buy some nice yearlings again. So we use Seamus Mills to buy our yearlings at the sales. He puts a list together for us of horses that he knows that I would like. They've always got to be good, athletic, good walking horses with a bit of a pedigree page. So, yeah, there's certainly some nice young ones coming through, some Seabrings and Written Tycoons. And, yeah, brought a little colt there. It's a full to Curame, a little filly that's won a few races for us at Flemington. So, yeah, we're not massive yearling buyers, but we tend to probably pick up horses more through tried horses and that, and I'm not sort of one that's ever gone put a big noose around my neck at the yearling sales. We just buy what we can afford and syndicate and have some options there for clients. Yeah.
I'll just go back to Galileo Chop. I'd just be fascinated to know just how do you work this? You put him on a plane and send him to Perth. Where does he go to when he gets there? Who looks after him? Tell us how it works.
Yeah, so normally they do a chartered flight, which is what is it, the couple of days after the Sandown Classic meeting. But this year, with the COVID and all the restrictions in place, it's very unlikely that chartered flight will go to Perth. So normally that would have possibly 20 horses or so going over. So this year, probably the best way we can get him over there is to get him to Sydney, and there's a plane going from Sydney to Perth, which is going over there to get a plane full of goats. So he, thankfully, he's going wrong.
Who's training there?
Thankfully. So yeah, he'll go over on that plane, and he'll go to Lindsay Smith. So he stayed at Lindsay Smith's last year. Sarah went over and looked after him over there, and she'll probably at this stage will do the same thing. We're just not sure how the quarantine side and all that for the people will work out, but certainly getting the horse over there seems fine. So he knows Lindsay's system, and it's a bit of a similar setup to our place where there's the heavy sand home track, and then the beach is only 10 or 15 minutes away, and you can float him down to the beach. So he'll be going over there a fit horse, and he'll probably land there and race the next week. So he doesn't need to do a lot of galloping while he's over there, but they do get to a track not far from there. I can't think of the name of the place, but it's sort of like their training centre over there where they have trials and gallops and that, and it's quite a good setup and a good grass surface. So it's great facilities over there, and the flight and all that for an old horse like him just seemed to spark him last year. And you go over there and you race for the Railway Stakes, $1 million race, Kingston Town the same, and you're probably sort of more racing in a Group 2 level. And just at Galo's age and that now and where he's at, it just fits nice for him.
Pete?
Yeah, just rolling with the nickname, Matty. Beetroot. Who labelled you?
That was John Atchison and Rick McIntosh at a Swan Hill Carnival many years ago. Could have even been the first year Jason Richardson went up there. Richo to be the presenter for. Well, was that back? That was TVN days, and it was his first gig, I think, away. And yeah, that was a pretty big weekend, that one.
Quite a few beers involved with that naming of the nickname, then, by the sounds.
Yeah, I think the cheeks might have got a bit red by the end of the night, and the name's just stuck, and McIntosh ran with it, and yeah, things have never changed.
Hasn't been let go since. So
no,
that's it from me. Darren, you might have a question about a race Matty'd like to win.
Yeah, matey, we like to find out from the trainers you know, what is it the race that you dream about winning yourself? A lot of people think it's the Melbourne Cup. Others like the Cox Plate. What's the race for you?
Oh, any Group 1 race, I wouldn't be too fussed which way it was. Yeah, look, I think just to try and get a result at Group 1 level, it's not an easy task, and would be a great photo to have hanging on the wall. So I'd cop any of them.
A Warrnambool Cup would be good.
Warrnambool Cup, be all right. We won the Wongoom, so we need a Warrnambool Cup to go up beside that. So yeah, no, look, I think just, you know, as a horse trainer, you just want to keep training winners wherever they are, and you know, it just depends on the type of horse and what you got at the time as to, you know, what sort of races you're going to be winning, but just to be successful and keep the show operating.
Have you got a Warrnambool Cup horse lined up for next year?
Sure, Harbour Views could sort of horse that could fit into a race like that. But no, we'll probably haven't got anything sort of earmarked yet. But look, after we generally get Christmas out of the way, and then we start honing in on the May Carnival. So we sort of start prepping about 4 or 5 months out.
You always told me, I think you always told me the worst day of your life to work was always the Friday after the Warrnambool Carnival.
Oh, horrible.
This year it might have been a bit better.
It was a lot better this year. But normally we've had a few runners, and you're trying to program races where horses are going to go and do trainers updates to keep your clients and that updated with how their horses pulled up, and all that on the back of a big headache. It doesn't go well.
No, we've had we've all been through it. It's as they say, it's schoolies for over 40s, and it's a big week down there. We certainly missed it, but really do appreciate you coming on today and giving a little bit of insight into what you do and how you do it. I think it's pretty clear to me and everyone around that you're a pretty honest, straightforward, straight shooting sort of fella. Very much family orientated, work hard, got a great setup. Your staff stay there a long time, so you're obviously pretty good to work for. You're getting plenty of results.
Too much.
You're getting plenty of results, and you wouldn't be doing work with Mick Price if he didn't agree. So you're a credit to yourself and the whole industry down at Warrnambool, and we're really pleased to have a great association with you and the team, and we look forward to that continuing on. And just finally, I can remember one night there after, I think it might have been Warrnambool Cup night there, we might have been just celebrating a little bit too hard, Peter, and I had all his staff down there buying drinks. I think, I don't know if Uxeries had won the Wongoom or something had happened. Anyway, I think every hour...
Must have been if you were shouting.
I was texting Matty all night, photos of his staff saying, well, I don't think this one will be in tomorrow. I don't think this one will be in tomorrow. And by 2 o'clock, I think he'd had enough of all of us. It was one of the great nights we had. Anyway, Matty, well done. Your credit to yourself, and we look forward to maybe winning a Warrnambool Cup or some decent race with you over the coming time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys, for having me, and there's always a box there for an ATB horse.
Good
Thanks, Matty.
Cheers.